Hey, RosterWatch Nation, it's your friendly neighborhood Trashman. And today I'm going to be talking about my favorite value picks at the running back, tight end, and quarterback position. The last time I talked to you, I was talking only about the receivers. This time it's going to be the other positions on the offense. Let's start off with the running backs. First off, you have Kenyon Drake, who I think might provide the most value out of any of these running backs I'm going to talk about, just because over his last 8 games last season, he had almost 19 touches a game and was the running back 4 over that stretch. Right now, he's been drafted as running back 13, so that's quite a bit of value. If you can get a top 5 back out of somebody who you might be able to get at 13, 14, 15, that is really good value. After him, we have Todd Gurley. He's being drafted as running back 20 right now. But as we all know, Todd Gurley, if he is healthy, could be a top 5 back, a top 10 back easily. Atlanta has a really good offensive line, and that bodes well for him. And also has little competition in the backfield, with Ito Smith and Brian Hill being really his only other competition back there. So I feel like if Todd Gurley can stay healthy, he could easily be a top 10 and maybe even, again, a top 5 back. Speaking of little the revolutionary cheat sheet that changed fantasy football forever is back only at RosterWatch.com. The RosterWatch Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet. All you have to do is follow 3 simple rules. That's it. 3 rules. It couldn't be easier. An expert quality fantasy football draft is guaranteed. The RosterWatch Ultimate Draft Cheat Sheet only at RosterWatch.com. So let's move on to some more running backs. After Gurley, we have Chris Carson, who's running back 15 right now. He's coming off of a hip injury, so there's been some questions about him in the backfield. The thing is, Rashad Penny, who a lot of people would view as his main competition, ruptured his ACL last season. He may miss the first 6 games of this season. Yeah, they added Carlos Hyde to the backfield, but we kind of know what we get out of Carlos Hyde, and it's not that much at this point. Chris Carson is a better back, and if Chris Carson is healthy, he's a bell cow back on a team that likes to run the ball a lot. So that could offer you a lot of value there. After him, we have David Johnson, now of the Houston Texans. He's being drafted as running back 23 right now. Last season, Houston Texans backs got almost 400 touches, 397 to be exact. And that's quite a few touches. So if you think that, David Johnson, if he is healthy again, and, a lot of these guys, it's going to be contingent upon whether they are healthy going to the season and staying healthy throughout the season. But DJ, if he can be anything close to his old self, if he's getting even, if he's getting 2/3 of those 400 touches, that's still a good chunk for him. And the Texans line, it's not great, but I feel like with DeAndre Hopkins gone out of that receiving core, they're going to have to rely on the run a little bit more. So everything is kind of coming together for DJ to have a really good year if he can stay healthy. After him, we have James Conner, who's running back 22 right now. He's got top 10 potential. We've seen it. People think that he's got more competition in the backfield around. It's true. Jalen Samuels is probably his best competition back there. But then there's Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland as well. People think they're going to get more touches, and they might. But James Conner, if he's healthy, like we said, top 10 back potential, and he's got Big Ben back under center. So I think that takes some pressure off of the running game. So I like Conner where you can get him. Darius Geis is the next running back I'm going to talk about. He's running back 29. And there are a lot of big ifs in Washington in that backfield. There are a lot of potential guys who could come up and kind of take the reins back there, but Geis is the most talented of that running back core. He's the most complete back. Adrian Peterson, you could argue that at one point he was the better back, but at this point in the twilight of his career, I don't see him taking over that backfield if Guy is healthy. Antonio Gibson, we think is a really dynamic player, but he is not the complete back that Guice is. If Guice can stay healthy, he's another Marshawn Lynch. So I really like his value there. The last running back I'm going to talk about as a really good value pick, in my opinion, is Jordan Howard. He's running back 40 right now. He's actually being drafted behind Matt Breida. The thing is, Howard will probably stay healthier than Breida will. We know Matt Breida's injury history, and it's extensive. Breida is probably a little bit better of a pass-catching back, but I think Howard is more dependable, and I think there are going to be a lot of carries to go around in that Miami backfield. So at running back 40, I think that's really good value for you. Moving on to the quarterback position, I'm going to start out with Matt Stafford, who is being drafted as quarterback 14 right now. Through 8 games last season, he only played 8 games last season. He had 207 fantasy points. If he had kept up the clip that he was at, he would have been quarterback 3 on the season. So if you're getting quarterback 3 numbers out of your 14th picked quarterback, that is really good value. After him, we have Ben Roethlisberger, who's being drafted as quarterback 18. He's been a top 10 quarterback virtually every year except 2019. So if he is healthy, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be another top 10 quarterback. I guess you could say Antonio Brown is not there, so maybe that hurts him some, but he's got some really good options there in the receiving game. Juju Smith-Schuster is still there, and he's still an elite receiver by most accounts. And then he's also got Deontay Johnson, James Washington, Chase Claypool. He's got some options there. So I'm not afraid of Big Ben. After him, we have Gardner Minshew. Minshew, yeah, you could argue that he's not an exceptional quarterback really by any means, but he's being drafted as the 24th quarterback to go right now. And the thing is, Minshew can move his feet. And if you know me, you know I love quarterbacks that can run because their floors are just that much higher than other quarterbacks going into the game. Only Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and Deshaun Watson had more yards on the ground than Minshew last season. Minshew had 344 yards on the ground last season. So those are quarterbacks I think are going to give you good value this season. Let me talk about a couple tight ends. The first of these being Hayden Hurst of the Falcons. He's being drafted as tight end 16 right now. And the thing is, opportunity is virtually everything for tight ends in fantasy, and Hurst is going to get a lot of opportunity coming into the role that Austin Hooper left last season, where he was a top 10 tight end on the year. And I think Hurst is arguably just as athletic as Hooper, if not more. I think he very well could end up being a top 10 tight end in fantasy. And then the last guy I'm going to talk about is Jonnu Smith of the Titans, tight end 19 right now. He's basically the new Delaney Walker. I mean, he is the number 1 option at tight end for the Titans, a team that really doesn't have a whole lot of options in the receiving game. I mean, there's A.J. Brown, and really there really isn't anybody else dependable after him. So I really like Jonnu Smith's chances this season. I think he offers immense value where he's being drafted right now. Anyways, that's it for me today and my value picks in fantasy thus far in the preseason. If you like what you heard, if you like what you're hearing from Roster Watch, leave us a comment, give us a follow, do what you can to help support us, and we'll help support you throughout the fantasy season and beyond. Anyways, this is the Trashman signing off. Until next time, be ready.